had a meeting with the Cairn team who uses tape, and they were shocked that a bug I reported last Friday was fixed by Monday. They're like, no way. I was like, yeah, for reals. And they were very happy with that.
Happy to hear, Carson.
Yes.
We're doing all we can.
Nice. Okay, perfect. It's recording. Well, we got a full house. I'm happy. This is the first one this year. So welcome to 2026. Since we didn't see each other in January, we're happy we're here. So today, welcome to the first Tape Partner webinar of 2026. I'm your host, Luis, and Jason over there as my co-host. And today we will be talking about something very interesting that probably all of you know is the await tape in the script calculation. But before that demonstration, let's give it to the tape team. So for a much needed update of what's been going on in the tape environment. So guys, take it away.
Yeah, so actually this time, Luis, we do have a lot of things to show, but we would prefer if you go ahead first, because we don't want to sort of steal the show. So I suggest you start and then we follow after.
Oh my God, you can steal the show all you want. I don't care. Yeah, man. So let me go over quickly. I'm just going to be very brief about this. So let me actually go and open the, where is my screen? Wait, give me one moment, because I have my, how do I, let me see. There we go. Okay, so let me share my screen. It's gonna be, I got 3 monitors. Which one it is? I think it's this one. Yeah, there we go. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Can you guys see it?
We're good.
Perfect. So we're gonna go to, so what we're gonna discuss here is I'm gonna go over something that is called the await tape in the tape scripts and what you can do with it. So let me actually open an automation that I created here. So I'm gonna open here and let's go to this one. And in here, this is the regular executor script. So let me just go over and put it real big. So the way it works is when you put await and then tape with lower cases, and now you have access to all the tape API directly in the scripts automation. And so what you can do here is, let's say, for example, I want to update a record. So I have app, email, file, and all the other ones. But if I scroll down, I can go to record. And now I am doing the API with the tape records. And now I can do anything I want. The bash create, which was recently added. But for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down. I'm going to select update. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to update a specific record. So the way it does that is await tape.record.update. And now I'm going to open a parenthesis here. And as you can see here, it's telling me that I need the record ID for this specific update. So let me open the workspace that I created as an example. And let me go here all the way down. And let me use this record here. So the record ID is going to be this one. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back. I'm going to put that in there. And after I have the record ID, I'm going to have a comma. And then I'm going to open do the fields. So it's going to be asking me about the fields, what fields I want to update. So in this situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put fields. I'm going to open the brackets. And in this specific scenario, I want to update this field, the status. The status here from active, I'm going to update it to canceled. So let's do that. So I'm going to do, I need to do the external ID. For the external ID for this one, let's go back, go over here, developer, and the external ID is going to be this one. So I'm going to copy it, status, go back here, in quotes, and then in my specific case, it's going to be canceled. in that specific case. And then that's how we use the await tape to do the update. But one other thing that you can do, you have certain options that you can use with this. And I'm gonna use one that I use a lot, which will be, and it will go down here. I'm gonna comma, and then I'm gonna add silent true. And what exactly is this? So you don't get notifications when you run this. It's especially useful to have this when you're running a lot of stuff. You don't want to get overboarded with notification. Just add silent true, and you will get that. So now what this is going to do when I run this is going to update the specific field here. It's going to change from active to canceled using the specific thing. So let me actually format this. Here we go. And now let's just run that automation to see what happens. So I'm going to manual run with John Doe, and it's processed, and it works. So now if I go back here, let me refresh, and you can see it was changed directly to canceled using the await automation that we had, which will be this one. Very simple. This is, of course, this one. If we see here, it's just the updating a record, but we can actually go and create a lot more stuff. And for example, in the record, you got everything here: create, get many, get filter, all of them. And you can check the tape API to see what each one does. But for this webinar, I'm just doing the simplest one in this scenario because it's a lot easier. But if you notice, it's actually easier to, for a specific case, you can actually use the regular update a record to update that specific record status and change to cancel, which is actually for this specific scenario, that will be the easiest way to do it instead of using the await. But did you know that you can actually convert this into this? The way to do that, check this out. This is really cool. Go over here, and you're going to go to turn into and put execute a script, and now I convert it to the script. So let me open this. And now that you have that in the script, this is very, very helpful for certain specific things. So now that you have it converted, you can actually see here how it works in the specific scenario. And here it's a little bit more in depth, but it's essentially the same as what I did before. Await a record, the current record ID, and in the case the fields, you can see them up here. Fields, this is the field, no, the field ID, and this number here is equal to the ID of what cancel it means in that specific scenario. And the option, you got silence, no workhook, no webhook, and add as user. That a little bit more advanced, but it's roughly the same thing in that specific scenario. And the same, and you can actually go back. Let's say I want to go back to what it was. I go here and click update record, and it went back to how it was in that specific scenario. And that was something very basic. So Carson, you said you're using the API action, but not providing specific API key for attribution. Is that completed by the app, or does it depend who triggers the flow? That is a good question. I think it's depending on who's running it, correct? So I'm running it, I'm the admin, so it should be running if I'm understanding.
It should actually be the workflow performing the action. So that will behave exactly, because actually the action that you added via the UI, it uses the same authentication as the await API call that you did.
Oh, perfect. Okay, so
that wouldn't be tied into the last person to save this automation flow, would it? I know sometimes when we save an automation and then a different user, if they don't have the permissions, they then would not have access. That wouldn't come into play here and break it, would it?
It depends. So this is actually a more complex scenario. We could do another webinar just on that probably, because we need to prevent people from abusing a workflow, right? So if you have an admin that creates a flow and then somebody else comes in with less privilege, they could abuse that workflow. So that's why we always apply the permissions of the latest editor. We have to do that.
Cool. So then that's one thing for us to keep into consideration.
No, definitely.
I can show you something in a bit that probably avoids that.
Oh, really? Oh, I want to see that one. So
It's like, no,
yeah,
please.
because this is crazy powerful. You can actually break tape using this. It's super powerful. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you like I just showed you the how to update the record, but there's also situations that using the await tape will help you make the automations runs a lot more efficient and faster. And I'm gonna give you an example here. So I'm gonna go back over here, and this one is a webhook one. So this one is something I deal with. So currently I'm working with a project called Mindful Auth, which is to create authentication system, and I'm handle all the plans and the subscription directly on tape. And the issue I had is I offer certain plans, a free plan and a paid plan. So in the free plan, you can have unlimited host names connected to the Mindful Auth authentication system. And in the free plan, you can have 3. So what I needed to do, I needed a way to let the automation know, like when someone goes from the paid plan to the free plan, keep only 3 host names and cancel all the others. So that's what I'm gonna show you in this scenario. So let me show you that. And just in case, as a quick thing, I am looking for beta testers for the Mindful Auth in the community. I added something here. You can see an awesome video that I did. And if you wanna help me out with the beta test, I'll be happy to take you in and see what we got. So let me show you the scenario that I explained. So in this workspace, I have 2 apps. I got the clients and the host names. And in the host names app, it's just a simplified version of what I have in my current Mindful Auth tape workspace. And in here, I have all the host names for this specific client, John Doe. So John Doe is creating 5 portals with Mindful Auth, and I can see them here. And each of them, I can see if the portal is either connected or disconnected. So that's what I see here. And like I mentioned, so when someone cancels the plan, he can only have 3 plans, 3 active host names. So to pull that off, so this is how it works. This is just a little more complex. So I'm gonna go to the automation, to the checkout webhook. And in here, what we're gonna do is when I get an automation, I receive a webhook from Stripe, and Stripe sends me a metadata with the client ID and the selected hostname IDs that a person created. This is just a dumbed down example of just the 2 things. The Stripe API gives you a massive a payload, but for this example, let's just use the client ID and the select host ID. So the first thing that happens is I take the payload, and I always do this. I use JSON Nata to take the information out. I get the client ID and I get the hostname IDs, which would be the numbers. And just as a parenthesis, they're gonna go back to the host names, and the hostname ID will be this one over here, host ID. And this is, if I go to the customized fields, it's a calculation with record ID. This is extremely useful for specific scenarios like this where you need to know the record ID. Very useful to have. And you need to have it here in the record so you can search against it. So that's what it is. And when I receive all those IDs and I search for them. So with that said, I got the client ID, I got the host names that the person selected, and then I'm gonna put them in an array. And after that, I'm gonna search for that specific client using the client ID. And then I'm gonna do a get related for collected. I'm gonna get all the host names that that client has. And then the other step is I'm gonna filter the host name. So this one, what this one does is it takes the use JSON Nata to get from the collection. It's gonna look for all the externals ID with the hostname ID. And it's gonna give me all of them. And then I'm gonna filter them with a map. And then I'm gonna filter them and filter the ones that I need. So let me show you, let me run it so you can actually see. So I'm gonna do a manual run with the last payload. And when it does, if we go over here, and it's in progress, success. And if I go to filter host names, you can see that I have, these are all the hostname IDs that I got, but I only need these two because if you look at the thing that this client selected, I want these three to remain. So out of these three, the other two needs to be disconnected. So that's what the next automation is supposed to do. So now I know, okay, this guy has 5, and these are the 2 that I need to disconnect. So that's what we're gonna do next. So now if I scroll all the way down, there are 2 ways to do this. So one is with the regular tape automation. So let's show you how that one works. So this one is what I call the pure automation. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do a loop. And we're gonna loop with the filter values that I got from this script. So then we're gonna do, I'm gonna clear the records, then I'm gonna search for the record with the matching ID, and then I'm gonna update that host name. So it's gonna do 3 things. So this thing here that you see here, the host name filter, is giving me 1, 2 numbers here. So each time the loops goes, it goes through 1724 and then 17245 and so on each loop. So for the regular automation to happen, it needs to clear the selected record. Why? Because first I'm doing a get automation here, and this has a collection. That's the first collection. So when it loops the first time, it needs to clear it. Then search for the other host name and then update it. So I'm gonna run the automation to show you what it does. And I'm gonna do manual last payload. And let's wait for it. And it says in progress. Success, perfect. So if you look, it's gonna do option 1, pure automation, is looping. So clears the record, search the record, and updates the record. Then it goes again, clears the record, search the record, and updates the record. So that's like how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps right there. 7 steps. And if I go back to this, is disconnected the ones that I needed, disconnected the 2 of them. So let me go back and update the status to connected again. So, and then as you can see, 7 steps. But now there's another way, which is the other option. So let me comment this, is with the await tape. And with the await tape, we're gonna go here, I'm gonna deactivate. And with the await tape, it's very simple. We're gonna loop the actions for the hostname filter, use await tape, update the hostname filter, which is the record ID, and simply the status disconnect and silent true. And when I run that, I click the automation, the last payload, and you can see here that is success. So now the difference is, if you look, we go back, it should have updated correctly. See, both disconnected, perfect. So now if I see the difference, you can see option 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. That's what happens because actually not this one doesn't count. So it's a loop action, so it's 1, 2 steps. So it updated it automatically. So if you compare it to the automation regular, so it goes to do the same thing, it goes loop, clear the collector, search the host name, update. Then it needs to clear the collector, search it again, and update. It works because there are 3 of them, but imagine you have hundreds of them. It will go nuts. It will take a while to run if you have hundreds of them. Although if you have hundreds, better to use the batch API for that one. But comparing it to the other one, you got 1, 2 actions. And to the point, very simple. And you don't overload the tape servers with your automations. So that's just one of the examples. There are, of course, many ways that you can accomplish things with the await tape scripts. And I think Jason is going to share one of us, which I want to see. And so,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Try and slide. Right. Let's see if I can make this work. Right. I want to. Typically, I want to share multiple windows, but we'll. Let's start with this one. Right. Okay. So Lewis said to me, if you've got anything cool, then you show it. So I was thinking, well, what's cool to do with the await tape thing? So what I've built is we're going to do this basically. We're going to find the user ID from this member here. We're going to create a new workspace for this user with a name based on the user's name. We're then going to create an app within the new workspace. We're then going to create a record within that new workspace. And then we're going to add the member as the user to that workspace, and then remove the automation user from the workspace. So it becomes a private workspace. So if the gods of demos are with me, when I hit this button here, that's what's going to happen. So I will give it a go. The trouble is you can't see the other screen. But if I present something else. Oh, hang on. Here we go. So
Can share the whole desktop. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought I was doing. Not very good at this today. Sorry. Right, hang on. Give me a sec. We'll share the other bit. That's the wrong screen.
Ooh. There we go.
Okay. Right. This is the user that. So this is Jim that you saw earlier here, and you can now see that Jim has got a personal workspace with an app called Jim's Notes, and with a record that we created. So all that happened from that one button. So it's a bit blurry for you. Yeah, I tried to share my whole desktop.
Yep.
It didn't work. So let me see if we can make this more obvious. Right. Is it still blurry for you, that one?
It's a little bit, yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay, Jason.
It's okay, yeah.
Go ahead.
It'll clear up after a
Okay,
second.
right.
Yep.
So I'll show you the automation. So this is the automation that did all of that. So basically
Oh
what
my
we
God.
get to
Only a few lines, huh?
Yeah, only a few lines. Well, it did a lot of things, didn't it, really? So basically we get the users from the organization. We then extract the user ID for the person or the name that was on that record in this bit here. We then create the workspace using the await tape workspace create, giving it a name of the person. We get the workspace, the new workspace ID from the response that you get back. We then create a notes app in the same way with the fields. It's a really simple app, but like you can make it as complex as you want. One thing that you have to do, remember though, is if you want a calculation field, you have to add that afterwards. So you have to create the app and then add in a calculation field. You can't create an app with a calculation field in one go. We then get the app ID, create a new record, and then this is the permissions bit. So we add the user ID that we got at the top as an admin, and then we remove me basically from the workspace. Just remember to always leave an admin. Otherwise you end up with these like orphaned apps that you really can't do much with. I made that mistake this afternoon when I was building this. So yeah, so if you're only going to have one user, you really must make them an admin. And that's it, basically.
That is
Does
really
that make
cool.
sense?
Right.
The bit that now to do that, to do the organization, workspace, and I think app level, you have to specify an API key, which is what I do here at the very top. So I'm setting a specific API key for that run. So yeah.
Mm,
Hopefully you could all see it.
really cool.
That's crazy, Jason.
Nice.
That's really cool.
Leveraging all the endpoints, the advanced ones.
That's
Yeah,
really,
but I think that's the point, is that you can do anything in it. It's like somebody asked me today, what can't you do? And it's like, well, I'm not really sure what. Oh, I know what you can't do, but you can't set the permissions on an app. But I think you can send an email. I think you can do basically anything you want apart from set permissions on an app.
Mhm.
It's basically a union of the of everything you can do inside the automation tool, because it runs on the API, and a few of the additional endpoints you can say thank you to Jacqueline, because she built this migration tool that needed a few additional endpoints a while back. So that's why we enhanced the API quite a bit for these structural endpoints for fields, apps, workspaces, etc.
Nice. Nice. Perfect. So that's what all we got for you guys, me and Jason. So you guys can take over. I want to see what's going on the tape side.
Yeah, sure. I can take over. So we want to give you a peek into what we're working on currently. So as most of you know, we decided to start off with the worst end boss we have, with the relation field, because it's the most complex one, and that's also the one with the most additional features that were requested. So I will try to make this as quick as possible, but it is a lot of stuff. So I would start off with the old experience. Let me share my screen. Screen. Can everyone see my screen? Yeah, nice. Perfect. So what we are going to do is we'll just take a peek into how relation fields worked in the past. Everyone probably have used them already. So in the past, you would add a relation field like this and select one of the apps that you want to relate to and create the field, right? So everyone remembers how that works. I'm clicking fast because time is limited. Excuse me for that. Yeah, so this is how it used to work. And we just want to point out first that we are not reinventing the wheel, but we are mostly building on top of what we already have, because that has been working really well, right? So this is another app that we have switched to the new record experience to. And as all you know, everyone should know that you can switch back and forth between the new experience and the old one. And yeah, what you do now is, of course, you just add a relation field. You select the app, companies, companies, and I can immediately go ahead and relate the record. So as you see, it's really similar. This one here is that's like a running gag on our team, because the old one that you know is like something that I can really use to make Leo aggressive about, right? Because he's the head of product and he's been complaining about this for a while, and it's justified because it's really old UI. And of course, the new relation field is entirely rebuilt with this selector here. We'll dive into that later. But what I want to show you now is the incoming part. So there are a lot of options here. We'll dive into that in a bit. But we related these two apps to the companies app now, and let's check it out. This is the old incoming relation section with the related activity coming soon tab that's been sitting there for years. And it's already deprecated now, so there's nothing coming in there anymore. But we can switch this app to the new experience. And let's see. Probably have already messed this up a bit. Yeah, we have. Okay. So this is the incoming relation section in the new record. In the beginning, it looks really similar. So it's basically a list of the incoming apps and the incoming records that point to your current records that you're looking at, but with quite a few differences. So I need to look at my script now. So what we are looking at here is the first little feature is in the future, you can collapse these things here. So because this is a user-centric feature, and probably every user has a different subset of related records or references, sorry, that they want to look at. So this is a little quality of life feature that we added. And the other one, actually, I think I spoiled that. So let me check. This is the field settings for incoming references. It looks really similar like the settings that you have on a regular field in the new record layout. But this is basically the analog settings, but just for the incoming references section. And what you can do here now is you can, for example, rearrange these, which is something that was highly requested, right? So you can reorder the incoming references. You can, of course, toggle the references. So this is a layout specific feature. So you could only show a subset of the references, which is, of course, yeah, quite powerful. And you check at the, yeah, exactly. So this is like a highly requested feature. It's somewhere on the top 10, I believe, to be able to toggle and rearrange this. It's just a small thing, but it makes a huge difference, really. And what you also have here is different layouts. So right now I'm in the cards layout, but you can also select the list layout. So you can customize this using a lot of different options here. You can also hit the right-click button. This is something that you know from the relation update that we brought a few weeks back, that you can now also toggle the field visibility per app. So for example, for my one app, I could, I will show that later, I could add additional fields here to show them directly. And you have these context menu options. So you can right-click your references. You can star them here. You could open them in a new tab. You could unlink directly. This is a pretty cool feature. So I can unlink James New here now from the incoming section. So we can do that right now. So I click unlink, and now I'm removing the reference. And as all of you know, I'm actually updating the other record. So if I jump in here, you see it's gone. Which brings me to the next set of features that we added. You can indeed, one thing is you can show empty reference sections like this. And why would you? But the useful thing is, if you do that, you can actually backlink records. Also something that can be quite annoying, right? So if you, in the old record, you would also need to jump into the other record to make the reference. So now you can actually link back. So I can pick from the other app, link back, select it, and it jumps in here. And if I go to the record, I have made a backlink. So the idea behind this is we want to blend in the experience better between outgoing and incoming, and make this basically almost feature, make there like a feature parity. This is the goal that we have. Yeah. So Stefan, can you jump in? Did I miss anything?
Create a record. Create a record.
You, of course, you also can create something in here. Yeah, we can try that. So this is like a creation with a prefill, right? It's similar like a template. So you jump in here, you've created a record, linked it back, just like you can do that for outgoing references. And the group visibility, I've shown that. Source reordering. Yeah, I think that should be most of what I wanted to show in here. And now what we want to do is we want to present you with the vision that we have. And of course, this is really similar to the existing incoming relations, just on steroids, right? But that wasn't enough for us because we wanted to give you the same power that you already have for fields. So what we do now is we hide the section entirely, which is also a little feature. So you can actually toggle the section off. Now it's gone. And we can add blocks just like we can add fields. We can also add a block for references. So the references block is basically the same thing, but the cool part about this is that you can move it wherever you want, right? So no need to have your incoming relation section on the very bottom, but you can move it to any place in your record layout. And yeah, so there's basically no limit to this. I will just remove the block because it's just a temporary thing. It doesn't contain any data because it's just a presentation layer, right? And the other thing we built is a reference block that holds a single reference, which can also be really useful. So I can now pick one of my incoming relations. I will pick the new record. It shows me just the related ones from that app. As you remember, I created a second one using the new record layout. And this behaves really similar like a regular relation field. So the goal here is to allow you to create a reference block in your target app. And then users should be able to use that in a very similar way as they use the relation field itself. So if I unlink this here now, open the picker, it should present me there's James again. So this feels like a relation field, but actually the value is here. Yeah, so also quite flexible. And of course, you can use these in multi-column layouts. You can do all of these things. You have the required setting for an incoming relation block as well. So you could, in theory, also make a backlink required when a record is created, which is also something that you couldn't do in the past. And of course, you have this powerful style system here, where you can select the different layouts. There's also a drop-down layout, which makes this look and feel like a category field. It's also something that was requested by the community. So you can actually blend in category and relation fields better. And yeah, let me check.
Please show the select. That's cool because go just
Oh,
back
select.
and the select option.
The select option. Yeah. Let me do that. Okay. So I will just try to add a second record here, and we'll make it a card layout. Yeah, this is really useful because
No, when you go to show as select in the drop-down layout.
Yeah, you're right. Thanks. Drop down. Yeah, the second option that you have here is you can actually make this display as a relation or display as a select. Sorry, yeah, I missed that before. So now, as you can see, it actually looks like a category field. And you can even hide these icons here if you want to. So this is really like the way to blend a relation into category fields, sort of. And some people, they wanted to use it as a lookup, right? So if you have a countries app that you just use as a lookup table, basically with dynamic category options, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that now without sacrificing any UX from the edit perspective. That was it, right, guys? Yeah. Okay. So I showed the layouts. Let me check. Style system. Yeah, we're moving to a new workspace now with a bit of more data. So I can show a few other features. So this is the second workspace we have prepared that holds a bit more things. And as you can see here, this is the reference block in action. So on the left, I have just a context reference. On the right, I have just a deals reference. Of course, you can also arrange them in a multi-column layout. And like I said, this behaves like a relation field. So I can pick backlinks here easily. You can, of course, also configure this to disallow. So if you go to layout settings, this is also a much requested feature. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit because it's so much. You'll be able to play with it yourself, but you can set the allow link and allow unlinked, and also the allow create. So basically you could, for example, have a relation field in your layout that you only allow to create new record. records, but you never allow users to select existing ones, or the other way around, right? Because you can toggle all of these individually, and that will affect these buttons here on the top. And which is really cool here, that is something that we rolled out in the past. You can, of course, add different fields here to the badges, and you can rearrange them. You can even rearrange them such that the title becomes another field. So you can have like a relation badge specific title if you want to. And you can rearrange the records with a drag and drop system. This doesn't work yet for incoming. So it's a work in progress, right? Everything you see is a work in progress. And let me check field preview on linked records. Oh yeah, that is something really nice that I enjoy a lot, is you can, even for this new search overlay that I bragged about before, you can even select fields here that you want to present. So you could, for example, have have a status inside the search, right? And this should allow, or this should make selecting the records easier, because you will see whether a project is done or a project is, so you see the project status, you see the due date right inside of the search results, right? And this is also a cool feature. It's basically the same one that you have in the badges. It's the same setting. It works really similarly. And also something nice, you can select multiple records and unlink them all at once, right? I won't do it now because I don't want to mess up the template, but this makes batch operations on a single relation field easier, also for outgoing and for incoming references. Let me check.
Deleting deleting records is a new feature as well.
Ah, yeah, you can delete records right from this UI. It's a shortcut, right? So it will delete the record and will unlink it consecutively. So all of these, I think, as I showed some of the buttons before, yeah. And also something that was much requested is regarding pagination. We will set a limit. Of course, we need a limit because in theory it could be 10,000s of records pointing to one record, right? I mean, who would do that? But some people do it, and even some clients. So yeah, what you can do here is you can set the load limit, which is also really useful. So it will default to 5, and then you can increase it. Especially useful if you have a list layout, right? And then you can see more records at once. It will still paginate if you click the load more button. Yeah. So, okay, I showed the load limits. Stefan, anything I missed in that section? No, right? Okay. So we want to show you 3 cool new things, or rather, yeah, 3. One thing is that we looked at other CRM systems, and what they basically were capable of doing is, oh, sorry, I want to show you this before. Of course, these blocks, they behave just like any other block. So you can apply rules to it, right? So you have all the settings that you have for field blocks, all the power. So you can conditionally hide incoming references based on the status of a record or based on the type of a record. So there's basically no limits to that. And yeah, I spoiled it a bit now. What we wanted to allow you to do is not only show your references grouped by reference, but you can also group it in a date sort of style, because that is something that many CRM systems did, right? So let's say you have a lead or you have a contact and you want to see all the calls, all the contacts you had with them in a timeline. And we added that here to the incoming references block. So let me check. Yeah, you just go in here and there's a grouping type. You can group by date and select the grouping fields for each referencing app. And it will then cluster for you. So you have an upcoming section, and you have one section per month, which includes the records from all of these apps grouped by date. And this allows you to see everything in sort of in like a stream. This is a really nice feature. And it's also, yeah, something that it's far away from the old experience, right? And this is like almost like a view inside of an app, but it's looking at multiple apps. And we really love this feature. It's a lot of fun. And you can also have a sorting per group, or you can sort the groups descending or ascending. So looking at past records or looking at future records. There's a lot of details here. And yeah, so I think everyone will love this. And of course, you can, here you have all the options to, for example, this is a call now. So if I pick the call, I can change the display settings for each app individually right here, right? So this will add the fields to my batch. I can look at it immediately. I see how it looks. Yeah, this is really customizable. And you have to sort the group sorting. You'll have to play around with it yourself. Okay. All right. And so now for the, I think I'll show the last feature for today. Of course, I missed a lot of things, but for a demo, actually most of the things worked. I'm surprised. Let me check which app is it. I'll have to jump into the, it's a different workspace, right? Yeah. So this is something that was much requested. I believe it should be number 1 on the list. So what we did is we have an option here for the, yeah. So this is something that was requested by a lot of people. It's number 1 on the list, and it allows you to set dynamic filters based on the current record, right? So in the past, you could select a view to filter the records, but there was a static option, right? That was just like, okay, it's not dynamic based on the current records values. And we rolled out this filter UI here that is really similar to the rules and also the automation framework. So actually, when we discussed it on the team, it's a bit confusing or a bit mind-blowing, because you actually select a field in the current app, right? That you want to filter on. So I want to filter belongs to company, is, and then you select a token, which is from your related, which is from your, yeah. So, oh, sorry, it's actually the other way around. I just noticed. Yeah, that's how confusing it is. So this token is from the current app, but the field is from the other app, right? Because I want to filter the records that I can select. And this is what you can do here now. I will select a country, Brazil, and then it will just show me states in Brazil. And if I select one now, Sao Paulo, it will just show me the shops from Sao Paulo, right? So if I now change this to Bahia, and I search for shops, it just shows me the shops in Bahia. And of course, I can also leave this empty, and now it should only show me the shops in Brazil. Yeah, so now it shows all of them. And it's so easy to configure. It's just a lot of fun to use. And we support most of the field types. And this is a real game changer, because it makes your input so much more convenient, and it's also a great consistency check, right? And this is fun to use. And we're excited to get this out on the road. This is the same one as here. So let's just create one for now. Canada, Alberta, add a shop. Red Deer in Alberta, created. Yeah, so this is nice, and can't wait to release it to you. Stefan, Leo, did I miss anything?
Just one thing. There are 3 relation fields. That looks like a little bit like a category field, but there are 3 relation fields. Probably give it a layout, then it's much more.
Yeah, switch to layout, yes.
Card, probably, yeah. That's 3 relation fields.
Yep. Cool. So this should be a game changer. Any questions, or anything you want to dive deeper into? Anything you want to see?
I got a quick question for you. Will Will this eventually get implemented into the dashboards for the ability to have the data shown or link things or create items directly from a dashboard?
I think, yeah, it sounds feasible, but currently we're focusing on the record itself.
Of course, I'm just thinking like high level future.
Yeah.
I like the create button that you trigger a record creation in another app.
Yep. Sounds like a good idea. We got to dive into that.
A button is a very, very wished feature.
Is there any edit? So think of like a count with tasks in it. Can I mark a task of a related item completed without opening that subtask from it with this new relationship?
I can answer that. You can change each field type we are building new from scratch now. You can edit in the batch, so you don't have to open the record. But what you are maybe asking for, Carsten, is to build a checklist field with a relation. And we also have this feature in mind. This is why we built a multi-select, all the right mouse click possibilities to make the basement for the checklist field. And then we think about an option to have to look a relation field like a checklist, and then you can handle your checklist entries like with a relation in another app. So this is already the preparing for that.
Okay.
And inline editing and what you need to do it to create inline and all these features.
That is quite all right. Relation fields are complex because, yeah, I guess that's also one of the reasons why people use tape in the first place, right? It's part of the DNA. So that's what we notice why it's hard to build, and it's also hard to make these level ups. But right now it's going well, and we're already QAing.
If you were to give the new field a percentile as far as status goes, how far are you as far as building out all of the foundation and all of the new features for that? Is there still, I guess my question is there still more features that you're adding, or is this pretty much?
We're pretty much feature complete. So we're just doing all the QA because we want to get it out to you. So there's always more to add, but we focused on all the requests from the community and all stuff we are seeing in our markets, like CRM system, like the grouping by date, which is very important to have an overview about your clients. And now we are feature complete, but we still have some more weeks to go. Not too many weeks, but some. And to have all the details, because you have so many, you are not allowed to delete all records from a relation field when it's required. You have the permission, which you have to check when you can multi-select or not. So you have so many small details, which all makes a lot of work to behave correctly. And all the loading stuff, because you can have multiple incoming reference blocks, and when you change at one block, you need to be synced to the other one, and the drag and drop operations. So it's a lot of detail work now, and we are each day have many open points, but we see light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I think that was my underlying question. So
Yeah. I'd say we have solved most of the technical challenges, right, Leo?
Yes.
The fundamental, because the challenge was because the baseline was already quite powerful, right? So the relation field that we have, not many systems have a relation field like that, right? So that's why adding all of these other features on top. Some of them, of course, we looked at other software, and but combining that with the fundamentals of the relation field is quite a challenge. And but I'd say we are through with that. And as Leo said, right now we're focusing on making this smooth and making it work and fixing the bugs. And yeah, so we can get it out into the beta soon and then continue with the next field types. Because we know this is the most blocking thing, right, for getting the new record out on the road.
We
Do you
appreciate
imagine when you release it, is it going to be just lumped with the new record type if they have that on, these fields are there, or is this special enough it'll be another button that they turn on the new relationship type for users?
It's just part of the regular rollout, right, Leo?
Yes.
It's just part of the beta.
Just we activate the field, and then when you switch over, you see. At the moment, you don't see the relation field, and when we activate the new one, when you switch over, you see your existing relation field, your existing incoming relation section, and you can change it with all the options we showed. Yes, so you don't have an extra button, Carsten.
Excellent demonstration. Excellent.
Amazing stuff, you guys.
I know. You forgot to read though. Anyway, yeah, but any other questions you guys have for the tape team? I just want to use it then. That's all. Any other questions you guys have? Martin, you have questions? You
Nothing
good?
from me. I'm speechless.
I have also built, Martin, the button you asked for to, if in the filter section, when you don't have a match in the dynamic filter, it's empty because of your patient use case for forms. As you remember, you.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. I think we're good to go. We're good to go. Any other questions for you guys?
No, thanks for all the hard work.
Definitely. Oh, okay, perfect. So we will see each other next month on another webinar, hopefully with more stuff. So yeah, we're good to go.
Cool.
And I just wanted to say thank you also from the team to every one of you who helps people in the community. And this really, I keep repeating that, but this really clears our schedule to focus on this. And we appreciate the time you put in, every one of you, to look into questions, help each other, and spread the positive attitude. It's amazing.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, guys. So we'll see each other next month and in the forum anytime. Okay. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.